Yo, what up guys, beside D here. I finally put together a team that can consistently take down the Phantom Shogun Grove. That's one content that I've not beaten out of all these dungeons, and I said it in December after I beat Fire Knight at Heart 10 with the help of the new champions I've got. I said it in a live stream that the next piece of content that is hanging over my head was Phantom Shogun Grove, and I was going to tackle it in the first week of January. I said it in that live stream in December, not knowing that they will launch crazy new incentive to make us want to actually fight the Sand Devil Necropolis at level 25 consistently more often, because you get those chaos dust, and now the Phantom Shogun's Grove that because you get those chaos powder, those two new end game resources that you can use to change the ascension of your artifacts and your accessories, the stats if you don't like them. You already seen what they can do, so that's why I decided to finally put together a team that can help me take down the Phantom Shogun Grove. So it's a goal that I set in December, and now they gave me an incentive to actually do it. Now, full disclaimer, a lot of other content creators have already beat the Phantom Shogun Grove. When it came out months ago, I didn't have the time, the resources, or even test server access to even put together those type of teams. So I've been eyeing particular teams that people have been putting together to beat that, but especially the ones that needed me to use champions that I don't use for anything else, and that's rare champions. So when I heard that the Phantom Shogun Grove could be taken down with rare champions, I was like, I'm not even going to bother to use my epic or legendary champions in this content, and I stuck to that goal. So I'll show you the team right now. So this is my team that made it possible for me, and I saw it from Nobraid's video where he used the exact same team, and I'll see if I can explain some tips and tricks that will help you navigate building this team, because yes, there is a way you can go about it, have the right champions, have the right stats, and still fail these runs. I'll tell you why my runs were failing, and see, hopefully you don't fall for that trap right here. All right, so let me explain a little bit. This is what's his name now, Gnarlhorn, and he's a rare champion which a lot of people did use, or I also used this champion when I was trying to beat the what do you call that content now, the highest content so far that we have, Doom Tower. So I used him when I was trying to beat the Doom Tower secret rooms, especially. That's why I put him to 60. Some people even use that champion when they're trying to beat faction wars, if you're so desperate and you don't have good epics or legendaries in that particular faction. So he comes in handy, used in one content, now being reused in a new content. That's why he's 60. I didn't take him to 60 because of this content. And another reason is why he's actually 2-star ascended only on my account, because he's not in my wish list when I was pulling those soul stones. So he's never been in my wish list. That's why I was able to get him in 2-star. So if you can have high level of ascension on him, it will be even better. Remember that this boss hits so hard when his count goes up a little bit, and the only way to get his counter down, whatever is counting that, I don't have the right terminologies for the whole thing, but basically I'll show you the run, and you're trying to make that counter be down consistently, because when he hits a particular number, he just nukes everything, nukes everybody. So you can't let him hit those high count numbers of, I think it's 50 or so. So you have to be careful. That's why you need high ascension champions. That's why it's not an early game or mid game or even end game content. It's an end game content for only champions who have high ascended champions. So some people have two cold hearts who are already at 4-star, 5-star ascended. Bring them in instead of another damage dealer right there. So I'll show you how the run works, but I'm just trying to give you the tips and tricks that you can use to beat this champion. And I'm glad that I have 6-star ascension on 2 champions, 5-star on Paragon. Whenever you see Paragon in a team like this, you already know what we want to do. Unkillable. Fortunately for the raid community, this boss does not ignore unkillable, right? Except some other weird reason or some other conditions are met. But he doesn't kill a champion that is on unkillable when he's doing his single target hits, and that's the way to cheese him. So it's still a call, I guess, a Paragon cheese. And yeah, you'll be asking, why did I add a legendary right there? Because you could use any other champion right here. You can use any champion, literally any champion. This champion you see in this slot is just there because of our A1 does not need accuracy to land HP burn. So HP burn debuff for 2 turns. This debuff cannot be resisted. That's the only reason why she's there. Another reason why she's there is because she has ascension 3-star, and I had to change her blessing to what do you call that one now? The one that Brimstone. Brimstone is what I had to change and use on her. Most people who use Eleanor use her in a different blessing, but for this content, brimstone is one way to take down this boss faster. And you can see I'm using rares. None of them have brimstone, so that's why she's in here. Brimstone purpose and HP burn on that A1. Maybe the A2 poisons is not even important. I've seen some people using even Mitrala, but I do not want to build or regear or change my Mitrala speed for this boss. I don't want to do that. Any champion that is important to me, any cleanser, yes, that's the purpose of this champion. You do need a cleanser in this team. It doesn't matter who that cleanser is, as long as that champion has this consistent cleanse on a 3-turn cooldown, right? That's all you need. So whether it's a Python, whether it's any cleanser you can think of, just bring them in right there. As long as their cleanse is on a 3-turn cooldown, consistent cleanse, whenever you have those infallible debuffs and other debuffs the boss puts on you, you can cleanse it immediately. So it targets only one person. So let me run the battle and then I'll show you my team presets after the battle so you can understand what is happening right here, the battle. I'll put it on slow speed, full auto. When the battle starts, the boss is fast. The boss is really fast. It's not one of these bosses where we want to go before him. No. You cannot go before this boss except your super end game. So it's what, 300 plus speed also. So there's no point trying to beat his speed, but you have to be speed tuned in your team. Everybody has to have a specific speed, just like I used from Nobraid's speed where you put it on a notepad, and I just screenshot and snap that. I'll put it on screen right here. Those exact speeds from Nobraid's video, that's what I used and it worked for me. Talk about the masteries soon so you don't make those mistakes also. So the first battle, when the battle is starting, according to the team presets, you don't want to do a cleanse right now. These block passive skills that he puts on you, this block debuff, block passive skills debuff that he puts on you cannot be removed. There's no need to cleanse right now, so you just start the battle with your A1. Yes, your reliquary tender is the fastest champion in your team, that's why she's going first. So she's going to start the battle with her A1. So in the team presets, I told her to start the battle with her A1. So if I hit auto, you see her doing her A1. I just have to break it down right here. Your Cold Heart is smart enough to start the battle with her Heartseeker ability. But if she's not, you can set it in your team presets to let Cold Heart always use this Heartseeker. So because that's how you want to, one of the ways you want to do damage. Some people might say Cold Heart is the MVP right here because of these big nukes. Yes, it's not much, but that's how much damage you can do for this boss. So either you do the A1 if you prefer HP burn, or you do the A2. It doesn't matter what this champion does. I go with the poisons. I'm looking for the brimstone to land. This time I didn't get it. Sometimes it's the A1 that lands the brimstone more. As for this middle champion right here that has already taken some damage and has this infallible debuff on him, that's what it's called, right? The boss has places on him. That means he will be the target. Now, at the beginning of the battle, when the boss took that turn and hit him and placed that debuff on him to decrease his damage or whatever, or make him get a weak hit, he was targeted because he's the highest crit damage champion on this team. Imagine me building a Cold Heart and another somebody right here has a more crit damage than Cold Heart. How is that even possible? It's because you have to be conscious not to make your Cold Heart have more crit damage than this dude in the leader slot right here. So he is like the champion that will be taking all the damage because he's like our sacrificial lamb, but he will not die because what Paragon will keep him alive. So I'm trying to say it doesn't matter what he does. His A2, A3 are turned off according to the team presets. So he's only going to be using his A1s. On auto, he uses A1 right here. So don't make the mistake of letting him use his A2 and A3, because it means when Paragon wants to place that block down killable, he will put it on Cold Heart or somebody else. So Paragon will always target the leader slot. Usually, if the leader slot already has a good unkillable, he will put it on somebody else. So you don't want the leader slot to have it, but you want to tell Paragon to always start the battle with this skill. So this is a priority skill, the A2. That's it. So now that the unkillable is on us, the boss will hit that champion and we survive the hit. He still has a 2-turn unkillable on him, and check out, because of the speed tune, according to the speed you saw me put on the screen, you will immediately cleanse this infallible debuff. Remember, the boss will always target somebody who has that infallible. That means the middle champion. Now that we, Cold Heart, Reliquary Tender, everybody has the infallible, that means he might target somebody else. You do not want that. That's why a cleanser is needed. Immediately he puts these debuffs on you. We don't care about the decreased defense, but we care about that enfeebled debuff. We don't even care about the block active skills, but we're trying to cleanse this middle debuff right here, the one that looks like a broken bone. That's the one we have to cleanse, else the boss will target whoever has that. I don't know much about the boss skills, but I've seen that that's usually what he does. That's why we need a cleanser, I guess. Now, Cold Heart is going to take a turn. And another reason why we need to cleanse it first is because if Cold Heart or if anybody else hits the boss while they have that enfeebled debuff on them, they'll most likely, yes, they will get a weak hit. And the more weak hits you land on this buff, the more this counter goes off. What is it called? Shade counter. I know it's a sort of a counter, shade counter. So whenever an enfeebled debuff is removed or transferred from an enemy, or when its duration is fully decreased by an enemy champion, increases shade counter. So because we cleansed all the enfeebled debuff, that's why it currently has 13 shade counters. I'm waiting for the place where it says whenever he hits a particular number, he does something crazy. Shade counter is activated at the start of the battle. Whenever an enemy lands a weak hit on Akumori, increases shade counter by 8. So you do not want Cold Heart to have an enfeebled debuff and hit the boss with her A1. Remember, she hits 3 times or 4 times on that A1. So that's going to be a lot of shade counter that you add. One time my Cold Heart did an A1 when she had the enfeebled debuff on her, and then she took the boss to like 30 plus shade counter. And yes, that will probably get you killed. So that's what I'm saying. Cold Heart is set not to use this skill though. If you are doing it on manual for other lower stages, I'll talk about other lower stages because some people don't even have a problem with 25. You most likely have a problem with coming down from 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. That's where most people have a challenge. So if you can understand what is happening in 25 right now as I'm explaining, you can apply that same knowledge to 24, 23, 22, 21, and 19 and all that. So that's what helped me out. If you can understand what is happening, you know all those other stages have to be on full manual because it's not speed tuned. You built this champion for 25. You didn't really consider building them for other stages. All right, I'll go in with my A1 for no particular reason. Cold Heart doesn't have enough accuracy to land poison or any debuff on the boss. And I'll go in with my HP bomb right now. I'm looking for that brimstone. We still didn't land the brimstone, but we landed the HP bomb this time. The boss still target who? The middle champion, the only champion who has enfeebled debuff. So we'll go auto A1 on this dude. He doesn't have any healing or anything. Normally some people putting in some immortal or regen gear. It doesn't need it. I want him to be juicy so the boss can keep targeting him. And it's not just his HP level that is making the boss target him. It's not just the unkillable that is making it. It's that enfeebled debuff and the high amount of crit damage he has on him, the highest on the team. So that's why the boss is trying to take him down first. Now on auto, this champion will use his skill. Yes, you just saw my Paragon just added 1 poison right here. I just wanted to see if I can add more poison to him, and I put my Paragon in a toxic set. It's not needed, but I was like, good excuse to use a toxic, so Paragon is in the toxic set. So he just needs low speed 175, like you see the speed counter. Counter attack. You see as I'm hitting the boss, the shade counter is coming down. We saw 13 now down to 5. Now it's coming down to 3 now because I hit him with champions who have higher ascensions. So this champion currently have 3 ascensions. If I hit with this champion, what happens? The 3 goes to 0, right? 0. Yes. So the more ascended champions you come in right here, my Gnot has no ascension. So if I brought Gnot in here for level 24 or other stages, Gnot was not reducing the shade counter at all, but at least he was helping with me with the nukes. All right, our cleanse is not available yet. Now when the boss places that debuff on you, you really can't say, but you just look at the skills counter right here. This is on a 4-turn cooldown. He has placed the enfeebled debuff on him again. That means he's gonna keep targeting him. So that's the skill that just went on cooldown for the boss. And Cold Heart will go with the Hatsuka again, and we'll put that unkillable again on full auto. We're going with the A2 for 2 poisons. We got the brimstone this time around. Do big damage on the boss. No, yes, 300 damage. That's what brimstone can help you do. So you don't stay there relying on Cold Heart and relying on little hits here and there War Master and other stuff. So that's what Brimstone can help you do. That's why I put in a legendary champion to help me with Brimstone. Doesn't matter whether it's a 1-star, 2-star legendary champion, Brimstone will still land most of the time. Sometimes, now if you have a 6-star ascended champion, you will most likely land Brimstone a lot and consistently. All right, on full auto, the cleanse just takes away all the enfeeble debuffs from everybody else. But check out the middle champion. His enfeeble debuff cannot be removed. That's why I still have it. I'm not also another reason why I'm not using Cold Heart's A2 is because I put her in a reflex set that allows her to reset the cooldown of her A3. That's one reason why I'm consistently using the A1 on her. From 11 to 5, she just reduced the shade counter from 11 to 5, which is nice. And full auto again, let's see. I have to break this one down because that's how I was able to understand it. HP burn. Still A1. So it seems like it's a consistent run, right? Just because this champion the entire time has this unkillable on him and the enfeeble debuff on him. That's what is saving me right now. If he didn't have it on him, we'll probably be dead right now because the boss will be doing all different things. The boss is so fixed on trying to kill this middle champion that he's forgetting that he's supposed to use his other skills and his other big hits. But there are certain conditions that will make him use them, and hopefully we don't trigger him to use it at all. So and our Heartseeker is almost available. A1 again, unkillable again, 2 poisons. And what are we gonna do? We're gonna cleanse it. The only reason why we can cleanse it immediately it lands is because of the speed tune, the exact speed you saw there. So that's it. If we don't cleanse it, like I said, he will target somebody else. And because we cleanse it, that's why we have 13 counters right here. For each that we cleanse, we got 8, I think. And Heartseeker, reduce it to 7 shade counter. A1, reduce it from 7 down to 5 shade counter. So A1 again, counter attack, reduce it from 10 back to 8. And A1 is going to reduce it to 5. And then A1 reduce it to 0. That's it. Keep it down. Keep it down. Only because this champion has ascensions, high level of ascensions. That's why it's happening. Cold Heart. Put it on auto. Let me end the battle. I'll show you the team presets that I was talking about. Cleanse it again. Perfect speed. So who do you think was the MVP right here? The center champion right here, this dude Gnarhorn was the MVP, and of course he was being supported by Paragon. So if you can have that synergy between two of them consistently keeping themselves alive and Reliquary that consistently cleansing, Cold Heart, Eleanor, anybody you want to use in these 2 slots, whether you want to use Cold Heart or Eleanor, you have total options to choose. Now most people prefer Cold Heart because they already have a high level of ascended. If you have another legendary champion that is high level ascended, a damage dealer that is the right affinity, Cold Heart also is void affinity, so that's another reason why everybody is using her for that content. Now unfortunately this is the Cold Heart I built for landing heal reduction for this new Cost City boss, and I had to strip all her gear from high survival kit down to a damage dealing kit again, and I have to even reset the masteries with 150 gems. So if you want to make a team work like this, I did spend all my silver. You can see if I go right there, you can see I'm down to like what, 128,000 silver, not even 1 million silver, because I was trying to make this team work, and I had to really reset the masteries on some champions. Now I did promise to show you the team presets. Let me show that first before I talk about the gear on this champion and the final stats. All right, let me quickly go to the team presets. It's really important you set it if you want to do this on auto. I will save it right here, call it Phantom. And number one, Gnarlhorn, like I said, is only using his A1 the entire battle. Now, if you're fighting 24, 22, 23, and all that, there are times when Gnarlhorn will need to place this block damage on himself. There are times like that. Why? Because maybe due to one thing or the other, he dies. He got brought back to life by Reliquary Tender, and then, so take note, if you're using it on full manual, sometimes what's his name, Paragon just used it, and for some reason you need to use it again. Gnarlhorn can place it by himself. Since you're doing it on manual, Paragon can still place it again on the Gnarlhorn. So do it on manual, know when to use both of them so you can save yourself stress. Don't just think because you put it on auto, on full auto, it will never be used. There are instances on 22, 21 where I had to use this unkillable on himself. That's what I'm trying to say. All right. Another reason why people prefer to use this champion is because damage increases according to how much HP. No, this attack cannot be a strong, critical, or weak hit. That's why he's in this team, because he cannot be weak hit. Anybody else can be in that position, right, and being kept alive by a Paragon. Anybody can be in that position, but he's the only one. Well, there are other champions who have skills that cannot be weak hit, but he has it on an A1. I don't know if there's any other champion who has that A1 cannot weak hit on their A1. Else, if you have that champion, if he's a legendary, better put him in the position of Gnarlhorn. Just give them the highest crit damage, and you can see his speed right here, 184 speed, and check out his crit damage, 288. Check out the crit rate, 47. He's not there for damage. Now, if I wanted damage out of this champion, I'll put 100% crit rate and 288 crit damage, but that will mean my crit damage will come down. That's why I went so high on the crit damage and so low on the crit rate. He's not there for damage. Don't be deceived. No accuracy, no resistance needed, but his HP is over 60k is the right spot, and 3k is the right spot for defense. If you are 2k defense, I think you should be about 65k HP. So balance it up so he doesn't die in the first hit, especially if he's crit. So that's the start for Gnarlhorn. Now the next MVP right here is going to be Paragon. Paragon is set to always focus on using this his unkillable skill. So that's it right here. If you're putting it on full auto, on sometimes on the lower stages, he might place that unkillable on this Gnarlhorn and then place unkillable on Cold Heart because she took some damage or something. So, or Gnarlhorn has high number of what do you call that thing now, unkillable at that time. So take note, on lower stages you might want to stop him from using it sometimes and go with this one if it's still counting, if your speed tune is not perfect at that time. So that's Paragon only here for this skill. I did manage to get him. That's the speed he required, 175 on your Paragon, and then HP and defense, nothing much. But check out what I did right here, crit rate and crit damage, because why not? If you're building a champion with 175 speed, where else are you going to put the rest of the stats? He's a champion that does benefit from accuracy, yes, but I didn't want to benefit from that, so I went with a toxic set with had crit rate and crit damage. It's going to contribute. He doesn't have masteries, but War Master is not a champion that will go get masteries for anytime soon. So there, I guess he could do some hits with War Master hits. Crit rate, crit damage, Paragon doing 200 plus crit damage nukes. It would be nice to see him some other content with this build, but no, I just had to put it on him because the speeds were low. There are no other stats I needed besides damage after speed stat is met. Of course, accuracy and defense stats are also met for him. The next MVP is Reliquary Tender, who was doing the cleanse consistently for us, and our speed is 284 speed. You might want to check out what true speed is if you're using Law of Steel and others. So take note of that, 284 speed right here, and she is not here for damage at all, but I was able to get her accuracy 290 because she's going to be used in other content. 79k HP. Why? Because why not? There's not other stats that are more important than this speed, and then triple speed set, double speed set can get you right here. Accuracy and resistance are not important, just the speed is most important, and since she's being used in other content, she's gonna need some HP and some defense to survive as a support champion that she is. Now Cold Heart is the next one after the 3 essential champions. These are the slots for damage dealers: 252 for your first damage dealers, and the second one is 249 for your second damage dealers, as the speed is required. So Cold Heart does have, I told her not to use this skill, like I said, I don't need her using it at all. I need her using only her A1, because the A1 is the multiple hits, 4 hits, while this is going to be a single hit. And I did get her the right blessing so she can add a little bit more hits when she's hitting the boss with any of her skills. And like I said, I did put her in a reflex set. Cold Heart doesn't, remember, she's not a champion that need 100% crit damage. I mean crit rate. That's why she's rocking 75, close to 70. 70 is a sweet spot. And then for that Heart Seeker, that adds extra 30 crit rate, so she can do 281 crit damage right here. She almost came close to Gnarhorn. Gnarhorn is still the highest crit damage champion on the team with 288. Be careful, don't get so close and make Cold Heart upgrade one artifact and go 289 or 290. That means she's gonna be the person chesting that enfeeble debuff that cannot be removed. So take note of that. I almost came close. I didn't know she came this close. Check out her accuracy. Because she's now dedicated to this content, she lost all her accuracy. So when I want to build her for some other content, if you have multiple Cold Hearts, you can even build them. But she is the Cold Heart that I had with the highest level of ascension. That's why I had to regear for this content. I guess my other 2-star, 3-star Cold Hearts ascended can do stuff on other content, and she will remain in this content because I don't like to be stealing champions from where they are. But if you have 2-3 champions, 2-3 Cold Hearts of high ascension, it will be amazing. All right. Like I said, Eleanor can be replaced with anybody. You can use a ninja. You can use any HP. I think HP Bond is the best way. Even poisons is also good. Whether you're using a Venom Mage, as long as they are the right affinity. Venom Mage landing those poisons and exploding them will be nice for this content. And anybody else who you can put maybe in a toxic set will also be nice, so they can land more poisons for Venom Mage to explode, I guess. So decreased attack can help you a little bit, but it's not required. Just like you just saw in the run, nobody else was in danger besides the middle guy that was just taking all the hits. So that's why you don't need any sustain. Just don't make your champions too squishy, and then sometimes they get hit and then they don't survive. All right. Let me show you the champions artifact set that I was talking about, and then the masteries, so you can take note of that tips I wanted to share. Recently used Eleanor. I still need to finish the champion masteries so she can help me a little bit. So I'll finish her masteries up pretty soon, and check out the one I was talking about that is going to fail a lot of players who are trying to build this. She's at 249 speed, right? Check out, she has Law of Steel. Where is it? 249 mastery, Law of Steel. So make sure you check out the true speed, because if you have those type of artifact, whether it's speed set, whether it's perception set, and then plus Law of Steel, it will add a little bit of more speed than you need. So don't make that mistake. And even masteries that boost your turn meter is not needed. I'll show you the one I made mistake on. My Reliquary Tender. She's a champion who everybody puts these masteries on. Normally, if you're going to use her in Hydra or any other content where her job is just heal and revive, or even dungeons, she's very good with Circle of Magic. But I tell you, for this content, you don't want that. Just like the Phantom, this new boss in the Cost City, right? Because I had Circle of Magic on my Python, it failed me. Whenever you reset the cooldown of your skills, it's gonna be bad news for you for that boss particular. In this content, it doesn't make the boss do any abilities or anything. All it does is, instead of 3-turn cooldown, it makes her cleanse become on a 2-turn cooldown. It's good on some content, but in this content, you do not want Circle of Magic on your cleanser especially. Even you don't want Circle of Magic on your Paragon especially. Now you can have it on your Cold Heart, on your damage dealers. You don't want it on your cleanser, and you don't want it in Paragon. So if you have Circle of Magic on your cleanser, I don't care whether it's Reliquary Tender, whether you're using what's her name now, other cleansers that everybody using, Circle of Magic is gonna make you fail the run. This is what made me fail the run like 4 or 5 times before I now realized it, and I noticed it was left in a comment for me to make sure I don't select some bad masteries and some bad blessings. Now, another thing that people did point out is these blessings, and I don't think this one really got me wrong, because when I do my total bonus stat, check out, 6-star blessing on her is giving her 7 extra speed from the blessing. 7 speed. So take note of that when you're making your calculation. So that blessing did add up to make it 284. So I did not need to, go overboard. Now, if you built her at 284 and then you got the blessing later, and made her 5-star, 6-star ascended, you just went above the required amount. So whenever you're ascending a champion, especially in that particular blessing, which blessing am I talking about? Is going to be Miracle Heal, because she's a healer, right? She does add that 7 blessing at level 6. Yes, at lower stages you don't really have any speed adding to that blessing. I don't know if there are any other blessing that is adding speed to your stats or making you gain turn meter. You don't want it. You don't want any blessing that will make you gain turn meter. You don't want any blessing that will make you um, change the speed that you currently see right here. That's why I'm going with Miracle Heal and know the amount of blessing that is added to me. All right, that's her stats right here. Total stats, she's in a speed set, 4-piece speed set, and 2 random one. For Coda, like I said, I had to change her gear from the Cost City gear and now to this one new one. That's why I ran out of silver, because I was trying to make this video work today. And total stats, you're looking at, like I said, 75k HP. That's everything. Not enough accuracy to even do anything else. But that's my cold heart right here. The second cold heart is this one that where is she? This is my second cold heart, but unfortunately she's in 3-star right here. I currently use her in Doom Tower, Stun Set Doom Tower. That's why I built her for that content. But soon, when I get her high level ascension, she'll be able to not require me to always change stats on this cold heart. Cold heart is one of those champions you probably need 3-4 copies of, because of different ways, different areas where they can be used and be MVPs. I'm glad in 2024 we are still seeing this champion rise up from wherever she's been forgotten, because in Fire Knight now people don't use her a lot. In Fire Knight Hard, a lot of other players, other champions who has freeze A1s have taken over the job of turn meter down for Fire Knight Hard mode. So but for other 2025 content, she's still MVP over there to keep the shield of the boss, get it down really fast. So that's my cold heart. We're really proud of that build. Because her crit rate is low, she can get that high amount. In Reflex set, that means that A3 will be available, Hatika will be available more often, I hope. Paragon in the MVP set right here of Toxic, adding those little poison for me that I probably don't need, but hey, probably helps a little bit for the battle. Not in any masteries at all, because I don't think he deserves masteries, or I've never really needed him to have masteries. Maybe little War Master, this Giant Slayer, War Master can help him a little bit, add more damage, but that's if you are not using any second damage dealer like HP Born Eleanor that I'm using right here. So if you have just one cold heart, maybe you take longer, but you still get it done. It wasn't a 5-minute run, so there's no reason to have a lot more damage right here. Those are the champions that made it possible for me. And no masters on this champion. Also random sets, all I needed for him was to meet that speed requirement of 184 and a high crit rate requirement, crit damage requirement, I mean. And for that crit damage to be available, I had to look for sets that had crit damage main start right here, crit damage main start on the amulet, and everything else on this had crit damage. I think crit damage, double row, crit damage right here, crit damage on the chest, crit damage on the boots, even defensive boots. See, he didn't need to be that fast, so he doesn't need to be that fast. Well, yeah, 184 isn't that fast. 200 is the minimum speed these days in raid for endgame or content, or even mid-game content. So I hope this one helps break down how you can build these champions, and these little tips I gave about the masteries that failed me while I was trying to get this done. It was Circle of Magic that failed me. And take note, if you're meeting this speed requirement of every champion, be careful of Law of Steel, especially if all your champions are in speed set and perception set, basic set that adds a little bit of that. So it's better you even reset your masteries if you're finding it difficult. You have the right speed, but you're failing somewhere. Just reset your masteries if you can afford the 150 gems that is required to reset your masteries, and make sure you don't select Law of Steel just to be safe. But I tested it out. It worked with 2 champions in Law of Steel. That is Reliquary Tender and not Cold Heart now. Who else is in Law of Steel? That's the only champion in Law of Steel. So one champion in Law of Steel worked. No, okay. Eleanor is also in Law of Steel, and it did work because she's not in a basic. Okay, she's in a basic set sort of. So it worked with 2 champions in Law of Steel. Just take note of that, because that might mean you're failing, or your Reliquary Tender is taking turns before the boss is doing that cleanse. And like I said, for earlier stages, be careful. You do it on manual. That's why I see this stage 24, 23, 22. They were not 1 minute runs, they were not on full auto, they were on full manual. 3 minutes run, 2 minutes run, 2 minutes run, 3 minutes run, 13 minutes run. Okay, this one I had a customer, I had to stop and attend to that customer before I continue finishing that stage. That's why it's on 13 minutes. It didn't take me that long, don't worry. All right, let me do it one more time on full auto and see how it works in 2x double speed and see how really fast it takes to get this one done. Cleanse, that's it, like clockwork. He just landed decrease attack. My Paragon has enough accuracy to land decrease attack. That's amazing. So far I've been running this 25, it has not failed me yet. After I got the speeds and everything correct. Cleanse, right on cue. Now if you have Law of Steel, sometimes you're getting speed somewhere, your champions might be picking up speed as time goes on, and then the cleanse that used to happen right on time begins to fail, or begins to happen before the debuffs are put on everybody else. See that Brimstone? You want a legendary champion with Brimstone to do those big hits and help you take down this boss faster, so you don't just rely on Cold Heart. Cleanse. This champion is taking a beating right there in the middle, but that's what he's there for. It's amazing that they allowed this to happen. I hope they don't patch this or anything, but because it's a strategy that the community came up with, and I'm surprised this boss that seemed a little bit harder than the other boss right here is now easier for us to beat. Best time right here, 1 minute 24 for me, and I'm glad he's easier to beat than Sun Devil. That's what I mean. My Sun Devil, I don't still have a fast team. I'm still rocking a 2-man team, which takes me, what's the best time right there, 4 minutes, or even sometimes 5 to 6 minutes to get it done, because only HP burn is the way I'm doing damage. This boss is so annoying, and I want to put together a fast team that will do it. I have a dedicated video showing how I built that team. If you're interested in beating it at level 25 and you want to see that start, check out, just search for my name and add Sun Devil Necropolis, you will find that video. I'll cut it to the side here so you guys can watch it after this if you're building 2 of them at 25. Remember, this is an endgame content. Shout out to Nobrates for putting out that content that helped me follow the speeds required and put this team together and have a better understanding of this content. You guys like, subscribe. Good luck farming your chaos powder and chaos dust. Good luck with your ascension changes to get the best stats. And for endgame players, good luck to all of you farming these stages, because it's going to be super useful during CVC for us to come here and farm it. If you don't have anywhere else to spend silver, I just wanted to get this one done. Now I can boldly beat my chest and say I've beat every dungeon content in raid at the highest level. Later, guys.